We made it! It's fall in South Louisiana. Kind of almost brings a little tear to my eye. Seriously, this is my favorite time of year for fishing the coastal marshes in South Louisiana. Everything's biting all over the place. The days are not scorching hot like they were just a month ago. And one of the great things about the marshes is the diversity of fish you can catch. And I love targeting shallow water redfish and bass. Our marshes down here are loaded with bass as well as redfish. And the great thing about it is they bite the same baits. So I've kind of set a challenge for myself today. I'm gonna try to catch at least 3 bass and at least 3 redfish on a variety of lures. Now, I'll admit that's not a very high bar, but it's an area I've never fished before. So I'm going in blind. We'll see what I can find, but I'm very optimistic. Now, I intentionally got a late start today. I needed time for the sun to get up so I could shoot video, but the sun's still fairly low on the horizon, so I think I got a little bit of time to throw a topwater bait. That's what I'm going to start with. I got this Topwater knockoff. It's a bait made by Academy. I've had great success with this bait in the past, so we'll give it a whirl for a little while and see if we get a bass or a redfish on topwater. We got some okay conditions today. Got a bit of an east wind. Water's very, very high. Definitely doesn't work in your favor. Good news is it's falling, so the bite should actually get better as the day goes on. When the water's high like this, the fish just scatter. They get all over the place. You can definitely catch fish, but you're not gonna find them grouped up generally. Good news is the water's really clean. So I saw some bait getting crushed right here on this point, so now I'm throwing the pop-bar over that. There's one. I think it's a bass. No, it's a trout. Look at this, speckled trout on the pop-bar. Come on, buddy. .5 inches. You get a lot of juvenile specks that are just under the size minimum this time of year. They're the fish that rode out the summer in the inside marshes. They weren't big enough to go out and spawn, but they grow quickly. And just in a few weeks' time, with all the bait, all the shrimp coming out of the marshes, those trout will be legal sized. So much fun fishing these marshes, you just don't know what's gonna bite. Here I'm trying to catch bass and reds. The first fish I catch is a speckled trout. So I got in this little bayou here and I see a bunch of kind of matted hydrilla over here along the shoreline. So I'm gonna grab a frog and throw that. It's a black booyah pad crasher. With this clear sky, I generally like a more natural colored bait, but this is what I have tied on. Just got a little stretch of grass here, so I'm gonna fish it. These frogs are a lot of fun to fish in this marsh. Caught redfish, bass, and even big speckled trout are these frogs. A lot of times, the specks will hide out in that grass as well. And of course, the bait's sitting on the point behind me. Oh, just got to blow up. Just got to blow up on the frog, but he missed it. This topwater bite will only get better in the coming weeks as the water cools. And like I said, you really want to be here at the crack of dawn. There's one. Boy, something was just busting. A shrimp, a big shrimp. Looks like a redfish here. Oh yeah, nice red, nice red. This one's gonna have to be netted. Boy, did he smack it. Not a bad fish. I'm playing nothing but catch and release today, so I'm gonna let him go. but he would be a legal fish. Well, a good pair of pliers is definitely a necessity with these topwater plugs. It's a tough life in these marshes, and something definitely got a hold of him at some point in his life. So what happened there is I saw something busting a big shrimp. Big white shrimp, came all the way out the water. I'm gonna say like a 16 count white shrimp. I'd already cast when it happened, but I was close enough that the redfish saw my bait and came up and absolutely smashed it. So much fun. Now, redfish is not physiologically set up to hit topwater baits. They have a profound overbite. So when they do hit topwater, they have to kind of come out of the water and crash down on the bait. So you always get a big explosion. Sometimes trout and bass will just daintily suck it in. Redfish don't do that. All right, there's a nice line of grass right here with some clear water, some clean water between the grass and the bank. That happens a lot in these marshes. The grass won't grow right up on the bank, and so you'll have an area maybe 3-4 feet thick of ungrassy water. But you can't throw a pop-bar or anything like that in there because you'll snag grass every time coming back. So now I'm throwing a frog right up against the bank, working it over that little bit of grass, and then retrieving it and making another cast. The sky's starting to cloud up just a little bit, so that may help my topwater bite to last a little bit longer. Really love to catch one on this frog. All right, there's one. There's one. I bet you it's a bass. Oh, he's all in that grass. Stay on, baby. Stay on. Oh yeah, there we go. Face full of grass. Not a bad marsh bass. These fish don't get to be giants. There's a lot of bait in here for them, but there's also salt water, particularly this time of year, and they just don't do well with that. They're healthy, but they just don't get big. Now, you can't catch 4.5 pound fish back here, but this is really more typical. This is what you're gonna catch. Now, these are very good eating, and again, they don't get very big, so you shouldn't feel guilty about keeping a few, but I'm out here today just for fun, so I'm gonna let him go. Bass number one. Go ahead, big boy. There he is. Now, with every topwater bait, you wanna give the fish a half a beat after they hit it before you hit them. That's especially true with frogs. You almost gotta wait a full second. The good thing is the bait's soft on these hollow body frogs, so it feels really natural to them. They don't have any reason to spit it. Doesn't mean they don't, sometimes they do, but by and large you can give them almost a full second before you set the hook. Now my plan is to work my way all the way to the back of this bayou. I found this bayou last night on a map. It just looked really good. I'll work my way to the back as quietly as I can. I'll probably fish spinnerbaits and worms on the way out. I'm really kind of pushing the topwater issue. It's getting kind of late for that. But again, we got a little bit of a partly cloudy sky. The sun is behind a cloud right now. So I just feel like I can catch a few more fish on top, and of course that's always a lot more fun. Well, I tell you, just love this time of year. It is beautiful out here. No place I'd rather be than fishing in our marsh. Oh, he smoked it. I don't know what this is. Good gravy. I think it's a big bass. I think it's a big bass. He smoked it. Oh yeah, it's a nice bass. Oh boy, is that a big fish. Here in these marshes, this is a big fish. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Now I know in some places, some parts of the country, that's just a fish. Here in these marshes, that is a beautiful bass. Look how deep he's got it. Look at that. Way down in his throat. He really choked it. Have to get the pliers for this one. That is just gorgeous. Beautiful fish. All right, we're gonna let him go. See you, buddy. Thanks for the fight. There he goes. Well, if I don't catch another fish, my day is already made. But believe me, I hope I'll catch another one. Unfortunately, that wind's picking up a little bit, and it's causing some hull slap on the front of my boat. I really don't like that, but I'm leery of running to the back of this bayou with my big motor, because that's going to be even more disturbing. Sun's starting to get a little brighter. Definitely not helping my topwater efforts. Well, there's a little one. He's he's not big. Oh, he came off. I had a terrible hook set. He was fooling with the trolling motor when he hit. That was not a big fish, but he might have helped with the challenge. How do the fish always know when you're looking away from your top water? It's incredible. Same thing when fishing a cork. You stare at it for an hour, nothing happens, you look away, it goes down, and your buddy calls you an idiot. All right, so I've really hit a lull. It's been a little while between bites. So there's three possibilities. Either there are no fish in this part of the bayou. Nah, I don't think that's the case. Or there are fish here, but they're not feeding. I think that's kind of a cop-out. Or what's most likely is they're just not eating what I'm throwing. Kind of been stubborn with these topwater baits, but I think our topwater bite is done for the day. If I stuck with it, I could probably catch one or two more, but I think I'm gonna make the change to spinner baits and worms. All right, so something happened and everything turned off. So I'm going with the assumption that the fish are just not feeding as actively as they were just a little bit ago. So I'm switching over to a worm. Much slower presentation. You can get fish to feed that really aren't even feeding. I'm gonna start with a June bug zoom worm. This water's really too pretty for June bug, but I just know from having fished the marsh all my life that June bug frequently catches bass and redfish. Feels like we got a ledge on this shoreline that drops off. Like I said, it's about 5 feet in the middle of this bayou. Those fish a lot of times will hold up on the flat, which I think would probably be the case today because the water's so high. But sometimes they'll hold right on the edge of the flat, right at the start of the drop off. Just as you pull it down off that ledge, that's when they hit. Oh, there's a fish. He ain't big, but he's a bass. There we go, that's number 3. We can check that off the list. He hit right on the initial drop, right in that grass bed. Not a big fish, but again, he's a marsh bass. You're not gonna get giants, except for the one I caught earlier. Oh! Just missed one. Got my drag too loose. He ate my lunch. Hooked my own worm. Hate when that happens. So I got my 3 bass, but only 1 redfish. I should really almost change tactics and just target red specifically. There we go. But I'm having too much fun. That's a pretty marsh bass. That's what you catch here. Not a giant, just a typical fish. Another fish. Oh, missed him. Boy, that was a good strike. That was shameful. Should have had him. Got a few strikes right along here, so I'm going to work the same stretch of bank again, see what we can get. There's a fish. Oh, there's a red. There's a red. There we go. There we go. That's a nice red. He's ripping drag. Yeah, it looks like about a 24-inch fish or so. All right, I'm flying solo today on the camera, so there he is. Redfish number 2. Now you see this fish hit this plastic worm. Normally thought of as a bass bait, but these reds love them. Well, I was going to show you the release, but he took off. Sometimes those reds, you got to revive them. That was a very, very powerful fish, and he took off like he was totally fine. All right, so that's 2 reds, 3, well, more than 3 bass, 1 more red, but I'm going to keep fishing like I'm bass fishing. So I just noticed my battery's about to go, and unfortunately I don't have a backup. So I'm gonna keep fishing my way out of this bayou. I'll be sure and take a picture of my final red if I'm fortunate enough to catch it. But what a fun morning. Great trip here in South Louisiana. I challenge you, get out here and catch 3 reds and 3 bass. Send me the pictures, send them to tmasson@NOLA.com, and you may be featured in a future video.